Param Pujya Swamiji. All of our embodiments of love, the elders, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, the sisters, the brothers, who have come from across the world, truly as embodiments of love, of how to stay connected to love in the face of whatever happens in the external world, whatever is done unto you, how to stay connected to that truth of love. Our beautiful yogi Shilpa, from whom it'll be such a great joy to hear. I'll have a wonderful joy to have a conversation with her on her path of yoga. And all of you, when we speak about love in yoga, we're really talking about yoga in yoga and life in yoga. Our beautiful dancers and embodiments of love for Sri Krishna and Sri Radhe just did such a great, not drama, because drama implies that it's just entertainment, but rather an embodiment of love. And it reminds us of that teaching of Bhakti Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna emphasizes Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga as 3 different ways of connecting with God. But Bhakti Yoga, this love of devotion, this yoga of devotion, yoga of love, yoga of connection with the divine, is the one that is the easiest, the fastest, the widest highway to wherever we're going. And the reason for that is that love makes all things possible. When we are in love, everything changes. When we are in love, everything is possible. When we are in love, who we are expands. Think about in your offices, in your schools, in your lives, when a friend of yours or a colleague, someone falls in love. They come to the office, they come to school. Everyone knows suddenly, someone has fallen in love. Now, you may not be the one they're in love with, but nonetheless, that energy of love is so powerful that it overflows out of us onto all of those around us, regardless of who it is we love. So love is that which expands us. Love is that which connects us to the truth of who we are. Think about the words, the terms, the ways that we speak about love. We speak about melting and merging. We speak about oceans and swimming and volcanoes. They're all words of expansion. We expand in love. And that expansion is the truth of who we are. This body, this mind, this identity is the illusion, the small illusion. But that's what causes all of our suffering in the world. When I identify just as this body, as this history, then I need people in the world around me to act in a certain way for me to stay happy. This is when we fall in love and then we fall out of love. You do what I want, you say what I want, you dance according to my tune, I love you. You no longer say what I want. You no longer dance according to my tune. This is when we fall out of love. But love is not something we're supposed to fall in or fall out of. Love is something we rise in. Love is that which enables us to rise as who we are. Rumi said so beautifully, he said, do not go out in search of love. Your job is not to seek for love. Your job is to seek, find, and then remove all of that which blocks you from love. And that is what yoga is how do I remove the blocks within myself to love. And those blocks are the ego. Those blocks are the identity. Those blocks are the do what I say when I say it, how I want it. Those blocks are the I am full of holes. You fill me, so I'm in love. That's how most of us fall in love. We move through the world experiencing holes within ourselves. Holes of our own insecurities, holes of our history, holes of feeling like we're not beautiful enough, we're not smart enough, we're not good enough, we're not whole enough, we're not worthy enough. And then we meet someone who says, oh my God, you are the most gorgeous. You are the smartest. You are the most wonderful. And suddenly we feel whole. But then as our life changes, as we grow, those holes in us change shape. The person we are in love with, they change. In life, we always change. And suddenly, they no longer fill my holes. And so I no longer feel in love. But that's not what love is. Love is not a mutual bargaining scheme. Love is not a contract of I'll do this for you, you do that for me. Love is the experience within myself of the truth of who I am. Love is that which comes the most naturally. That's why it's so beautiful. We meet someone. It happens most easily with little children. You're standing in line at a grocery store, checking out at the grocery store. Checkout clerk is taking a little too long. In line is a little child, in a carriage, in mom's arms. And suddenly we find ourselves making eyes and Googles and giggles and love with this baby. Now, we've never met this baby before. We're never going to see this baby again after we're done checking out. But there is something in the eyes, in the face, in the presence of this child that pulls us so deeply. What is that? What is it that makes us reach out to kids, reach out to baby puppies, baby kitties, that love them so much? They pull from us the freedom to feel love without expectation. Nobody's expecting that this baby in the carriage is going to do something for you. Nobody's expecting the kitty is going to do something for you or the puppy is going to do something for you. Our love gets tainted. Our love starts to become this mutual benefit scheme when it gets all wrapped up with expectations. And this is where, when we talk about expanding in love, is it's no longer I need you to do something for me. It's through loving you, I have turned on my internal love manufacturing factory. And that's what's so beautiful. You meet someone, you fall in love. Inside you, love starts to grow. Inside you, love blossoms. Even they're no longer physically there. You've gone home, they've gone home. But that joy is there. That love is there. Because it has turned on within you. And that's the key. We get stuck when we think my love is about you. I love you, therefore you need to XYZ. The love that Sri Krishna and Sri Radha teach us, the love that our mother Ganga teaches us, the love of the divine, is that love in which, through loving, we connect with love in ourselves. We connect with truth in ourselves. And that is what this path of love is about. And so as you go through your lives, make sure you're loving. Love is what makes everything else flow. Love is what keeps us alive. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you're loving. We talk about loving God. Fantastic. If you can love God, nothing like it. But if you find, for whatever reason, religiously, spiritually, culturally, that it's hard for you to love God, but you can love your child, you can love your grandmother, you can love the baby in the carriage and the checkout line at the grocery store, you can love the tree in your backyard, that's great. Don't worry. Don't feel less. As long as what you're loving is essence. You're loving God through that being. You're loving the divine through that being. Because it's not the form. It's not the bark of the tree that falls off and regenerates. It's not the physical body of your child that keeps changing. The physical body of your mother or father or grandmother or spouse that keeps changing. If you really love, what you're loving is essence. What you're loving is spirit. What you're loving is soul. What you're loving is content. You may enjoy the form. Nothing wrong with that. Beauty is also divinity. Love the form. Love the packaging too, no problem. But realize that if it's really love, not lust, what we're loving is essence. We're loving spirit. And when we love essence and we love spirit, we're loving the divine. And when we love essence and spirit and soul in another, we're connecting with that in ourselves. Because my body cannot love your soul or your spirit. In order to love your essence, your spirit, I have to come at it from my spirit, my essence. Which means that love opens us to the truth of who we are. If we're really going to love in life, we can only do it from opening to our own spirit, opening to our own essence, opening to our own soul, our own heart, that truth of love within us. So again, doesn't matter what you love. Whoever, whatever you are loving, they are the way. They are the medium. They are the tool through which your internal love gets turned on. And ultimately that is what matters. But in order to do that, we have to expand. Because if in my life it's all about what you're doing, how you're doing it, you used to bring me flowers and chocolates. I used to love you. You stopped bringing me flowers and chocolates, so I no longer love you. I've contracted. I've contracted. Expectations make us contract. Love makes us expand. And so it's not about, a lot of us think, well, I would love you if, or I would love you more if, or I love you but. That's not love. That's a contract. Love is, I love you. Period. And if in order to stay in love in that moment, I need to expand, I expand. If I have a cup of water and I identify as this glass of water and a rock falls in the water, what happens? It splashes. Splashes all over the place. This is what we call troubles and turmoil and stress in life. I'm this glass of water, the rock of life, the rock of situations, the rock of other people's karmic package has fallen into my glass of self. Now I splash all over the place. This is what we call reaction, fit, temper tantrum, upset, out of love. And most of us go through our life trying to figure out, how can I keep those rocks from falling into my glass so that I can stay peaceful and stable and loving? But that doesn't work because we don't actually have any control over the external world. What we do have control over is our own self. And so if you take that same rock and you drop it in a bucket or you drop it in a bathtub, what happens? Barely anything. Little ripple. Not much. Doesn't even go over the edge of the bucket or the bathtub. Then you take that same rock, you drop it in the ocean. What happens? Nothing. So the goal of life, of love, of yoga is become the ocean. It's not about how can I figure out how to stop those rocks? How can I figure out how to make people dance according to my tune? If I just could get them to behave. Just get him to bring me chocolates again. Just get this one to do that, act like this, be like that. We'll spend our lives fighting against the rocks of the world. Yoga, and especially the yoga of love, is about becoming the ocean. And in that ocean, there is space. There is space for the rocks to fall and for me to keep loving. And so as we move through our yoga practice, ask yourself, how can I be love? How can I experience love in this moment? Every day, choose someone else to love. Every day, expand what you love and who you love. I want to conclude this with a short exercise. Stay exactly where you are, but turn to the person next to you. Wherever you are, just turn to the person next to you. But also turn your body a little bit so that you're actually facing the person next to you. If anyone doesn't have a person next to you, raise your hand. If you've got your hand raised, find somebody else with their hand raised and come sit next to them. All right. Look in each other's eyes. And now what I want you to do, at the same time, softly, slowly, look in each other's eyes, and I want you all to say, I love you. I love you. Now, you may have never met this person before, but that's okay. Remember that what you're loving is essence and spirit. We identify love too much as romance and sex. You're not saying, I want to marry you. You're not saying, I want to go to bed with you. You're saying, I love you. Look in each other's eyes. I love you. I love you. I love you. Say it out loud to each other. Say it out loud to each other. Keep repeating it. Repeat it until you see love in the other person's eyes. And open yourself up to that love. Allow yourself to feel loved. It's scary. You may giggle. That's okay. Keep doing it. I love you. I love you. Keep saying it to each other. Keep looking in each other's eyes and saying it to each other. I can't hear you. Say it louder. To each other. In each other's eyes. You don't need to know each other's stories. Just, I love you. If you feel appropriate, if you feel inspired, give each other a hug. And take this out. Take this out into your life, into the world. See how many people during the day you can look in their eyes and say, I love you. Not, I want to marry you. Not, I want to go to bed with you. But just, I love you. I love you. Allow yourself to expand in love. And through you, give others the space to expand into their love. With that, and just because we're moving on in this session doesn't mean you have to bring your love to a close. Love is on. Allow yourself to keep feeling it. For everyone, wherever you move.